Delighted to welcome back on the show all the way across there in New Jersey. It is Mark Henry. First of all, Mark, happy 4th of July weekend to you, my friend. How's all with you? Obviously a busy time coming up in the next week.
Yeah, thanks so much, my friend. So good to hear from you again, buddy.
Cheers, bud. Yeah, obviously a huge month really for you, Mark. You've a lot of guys in action. Obviously Frankie Edgar next weekend, Eddie Alvarez on Thursday night, Edson Barboza at the end of the month, and Marlon Moraes as well coming up. How do you deal with that? How do you put everything together, really, is the question I'm trying to ask.
Just, a good team effort, too. We also, too, in the mix have, in between all that, is we're really happy and proud of Caitlin Chukagan. She's making her UFC debut in South Dakota. So we're excited for that one also. But, just a team effort and just, keeping an eye on everybody. And a lot of the guys spar together, so, we're able to we tape a lot of stuff so we could, watch everybody's rounds in case we do miss a couple of them. And then when we, get with the guys, then we go over the rounds that maybe one or two that we missed out. So pretty much we see every round that everybody's been sparring and the progression everybody's been making and things of that nature.
Yeah, the boys seemed in good spirits. I watched one of your Instagram posts yesterday. I think it was Frankie and Eddie Alvarez, their last session before jetting off to Las Vegas, obviously. I want to get your thoughts, first of all, on Frankie's fight. We talked about it a couple of months ago. You guys were obviously very disappointed that you didn't get Conor. Like a lot of people, including myself, I think that's a fight that should be made, but that's for a different day. You obviously have to concentrate on Jose this weekend. First of all, how's everything going with Frankie? Has it been a good camp, injury-free, everything all good going into fight week?
Yeah, it's been a great camp, and, it's been really... it's been a great camp, too, also, that Eddie's been getting ready for his title shot. Yeah. So they're kind of both in the same mindset and, both excited. And you have Marlon, Moraes, like you said, and Edson getting ready. So all four are kind of in that fight mode. And, it's a good time for them to all be pushing each other, all pretty much on the, same training schedule. So it's great that they're, able to push each other to the limit for, all knowing that they're, angst and getting ready for these fights.
Definitely. Obviously, Frankie and Jose have thrown down before, Mark, and the result obviously went in, the decision went in Jose's favour. What are you guys going to do differently in this fight, and how important is the momentum going into this fight as well?
I think you said it right. The momentum's a real big thing, especially with Frankie. When he has a lot of confidence, man. He does really well. I think also, too, the first time he gave Jose a little bit too much respect. I think, he's not going to give him so much respect this time. Just like, the fight with BJ. BJ was known, had such a big aura. And, first fight, we were maybe a little bit cautious, played on the cautious end. And same thing with Jose, he, didn't lose in like 11 years, was champion for so long. And, maybe came out a little cautious in that one. And, and now that Frankie's danced with them already and has already felt them out, I don't think he's gonna, give the same, respect or cautious, be as cautious as he was last time.
How do you think Jose is going to bounce back? Obviously, you mentioned it there. It was his first loss in like 11 years or whatever it was against Conor McGregor. Do you feel almost, as though this is maybe a perfect time even to get Jose, because there's going to be a lot of doubt about how he's going to bounce back and react to that loss?
No, I think it's a total opposite. I think Jose's a great warrior. The guy, you don't just not lose for 11 years and be champion that long, for no reason. And I think that, he kind of has his back to the wall where, so many things have been said, like, people saying some things, and maybe he lost a step or one out. Where I think it's the opposite. I think that, now that he has his, his back up against the wall, he's going to be maybe a more dangerous Jose than we've ever seen. So, that's what we're preparing for, and that's what we're in the mindset for.
What have you done differently with Frankie? Obviously, when he was in the lightweight division and his first couple in featherweight, he wasn't putting away the guys. And now there's really been a killer instinct instilled into his game. We've seen that in the last 3 outings. What's that down to? What have you done for that to happen?
I think, first of all, Frankie was giving up 20-something pounds at 155. Yeah. I think he's still giving up about 10 pounds,
It's crazy.
Fight, he's still really a 35er, so I think that just, it's a lot harder to knock back a guy 20 pounds more than you. It's, it's still hard to knock back a guy 10 pounds harder than you, So now at least the playing field is a little better, than what it was at 55. And I think, like Marlon Moraes weighs even a couple pounds more than Frankie. So, Frankie at 35, I think, you'd see a guy that could sit down a little more and stay in front a little more. But, when you're giving up 10 pounds, which like in boxing, there's 2 weight classes, and you're also using smaller gloves. You can't really stand in front of a guy and plant your feet as much and let's go swing for swing when you're giving up, height, weight, and range all the time, So, you have to pick and choose, and, Frankie's blessed in that he's, an amazing all-around fighter. So you just have to use, everything that God's given you, and thankfully God's given him a lot. Definitely,
yeah. Obviously, in my opinion, the best featherweight in the world. I've said on many occasions. We look at what you've done in preparation for the fight, and I know obviously Paul Felder was over here in Dublin last week. We shared a few Guinness with Paul, good pal of mine, had him on the show many a times. Paul is a similar sort of fighter to Jose Aldo. In relation to the leg kicks, throws a high volume of leg kicks. Is that something that has Paul worked closely with Frankie in the build up to this fight? Because obviously Paul's up with you guys now training quite a lot.
Yeah, well, we're lucky in that we don't just have Paul. We have Edson Barboza.
Yeah, obviously Edson.
Known for leg kicks, and Marlon Moraes too, who's also known for. I think Marlon a few fights ago broke a guy's femur with the right leg kick.
Jesus.
So we have enough guys throwing right leg kicks, and also too, Edson Barboza has a beautiful jab, and he has 5 inches longer range on Jose, and he has about 5 inches. What's he? 5'7". He's 4 inches taller. So he's 4 inches taller than Jose and has a 5 inch longer reach than Jose. I believe he's faster than Jose, in my opinion. Edson's extremely fast, and so so we've been also preparing really. Frankie's seeing the jab a lot too, and preparing for that as well as the right leg kick.
Awesome. So you've all the tools and all the guys in order to replicate Jose. And are you expecting Frankie to finish this fight?
Yeah, you always expect him to finish, but you always prepare to go 5. But I think if Jose gives Frankie some openings, and he's definitely going to take him. And I think that's the main thing too. Like you said, Frankie's on a roll right now, and he's got a lot of confidence going, and I just think that he's on a high right now. I think, his all-around game's really progressed well, and the fact, like you said, he has 3 stops in his last 5 fights, and the great thing is 3 of those stops have come in different ways.
Yeah,
they've come by submission, they've come by ground and pound, and they've come by knockout. So, it's great that he has a great all-around game. I think that's what makes him so dangerous.
I can't wait for this fight. I'm super excited about this one coming up on Saturday night, obviously for the interim title. With the win, it has to be Conor McGregor for Frankie Edgar. Has to be. Is that your thoughts?
Conor's a joke, man. I don't even talk about Conor. I don't understand this fight that he's having now. I think he's a clown. I think, even if he beats Nate, which I don't think he is, I just don't get it. The guy already whooped you bad, so how many more retries you're going to have? You get to have another retry and another retry. I think it's a joke. How long are we going to go without this guy defending the belt? I just think he should give it up. I don't know what he's so afraid of, about giving up that belt. Well, he talks about Mayweather. He talks about, Nate Diaz, talks about Lawler. The one thing he doesn't talk about is the featherweight title. So, you don't have to hold on a belt all the time. Dana is going to let you do whatever you want anyway. You want to drive his car, any one of his cars, I'm sure Dana will let you do that too. If you want to fight in the women's division, Dana might let you do that too. Pretty much he lets you do whatever you want except for defending the belt. I think things are in the UFC are upside down these days. Now you're talking to Bisping maybe fighting
John Henderson.
What's he ranked 13th? The guy, just got stopped. He lost 6 out of 9 fights, got stopped in 4 of them, ranked 13th, and just beat a guy that wasn't even ranked. So, it's more like WWE. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, obviously very frustrating for Frankie, and we've talked about on the show before in the past that I do believe, and like many other journalists do believe that it should have really been Conor Frankie. this weekend. But hopefully that happens. Hopefully it happens in New York. I think that would be absolutely perfect at the end of the year in Madison Square Garden, because obviously Frankie thoroughly deserves that title shot, in my opinion, and in your opinion, obviously, as well, Mark.
Right.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's about. I don't think it's about context. Just want to fight for the belt. If this guy doesn't want to fight for the belt, he's starting to make the belt look like a clown. It's like, it's just fighting a clown. I'd rather him not even fight Conor McGregor, because him defending a belt is just like a circus show. So I'd be better off somebody that, I'd rather somebody who has the belt, like Jose, a guy who, wants the belt, wants to defend the belt, things of that nature, instead of, going on these clown tours left and right, to just, somebody's honorable and wants to fight for a belt and fight for a meaning of what it is to be champion. I'd respect that more,
Are you almost excited that the UFC are going to be taken over by a new company? That's the rumor. It's been strongly rumored the UFC are going to be going. Will that have any difference into the way in which the company's run, do you feel?
I don't know. I just think, the championship has definitely, especially if Bisping jumps over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 contender, I think it's become a circus. I think it's a joke. And, I don't know, maybe they're selling it, they could care less, but, when you start, if the belt's becoming, it's not becoming worth anything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what you have. I feel more, Chris Weidman's in that division, but I feel more bad for Jacare. I mean, Jacare so deserves the title if they don't give it to Luke or Chris. I feel, I don't know what, when a guy like Jacare or Chris, I don't know what the formula is, what you're supposed to do, hard work, climb the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that stuff really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, very frustrating all round. As you said, it's making the belts more or less lose their prestige, which it's quite upsetting. But let's move on to Eddie Alvarez. Huge title fight for him. A guy that we've seen over the years progress, develop. We've seen that trilogy against Michael Chandler and Bellator. We've seen him, lose his first fight in the UFC. Now we've seen constant evolution, development. He's good everywhere, Eddie Alvarez. I fancy him to win this fight on Saturday night. How has everything gone with Eddie in the build up to this fight against Rafael dos Anjos?
It's going really well, man. It's great. The Muay Thai guys like Alvarez, Frankie, and Edson Barboza have Anderson Franco. He's an amazing Muay Thai coach, and he's been really working well with the things that Rafael does. I have the highest regard for Rafael. He's friendly with him, and he's a true champion. Like he's the guy I'm talking about. He's the guy who, anything that Rafael's ever gotten, he deserves to get. And he's earned it. And didn't bypass anybody, had the hardest road. Yeah. And, it's a guy you can respect, a guy that I respect. And, we have a big task ahead of us. And I think if anybody could do it, I think Eddie could definitely do it. I think that Eddie is such a hard worker. And, I think you tell this kid to do, man. He'll go out there and try his hardest. Like you said, he's been champion in different organizations. And, he's been there, done it, seen it all. And, I think the great thing about Eddie, like with Frankie, Eddie is, Eddie's kicks, man, they're really hard. He has a great wrestling background. I got to tell you, man, his jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Also, Ricardo Meda's done a great job with him, and his jiu-jitsu is really what kind of blows me away also, and his aggressiveness and just that Philadelphia spirit, man.
Yeah,
so, really excited for this fight, and it's like also a fight too. I respect Rafael so much, and it's you win, you beat Rafael, man, you really earned it. And I think Eddie's ready for the task.
Do you think Eddie's style is almost perfect to win this fight? We saw a lot. You got a lot of criticism after the Pettis fight. For going out there and getting the job done, which I thought was fantastic in the way in which he got the job done. He nullified everything that Anthony Pettis threw at him. We know Anthony Pettis is really good, strong kicks. We saw Rafael do that against Cowboy Cerrone. Is this almost, was the Pettis fight almost a tune-up for the title fight in a very similar stylistic matchup?
Yeah, I think, I think the way that, things worked out for Frankie getting the title and Eddie getting the title, I think, like you're saying, like they had to earn everything they had to, they had to get. And in that process, fighting the best guys in different stylistic matchups. You know, they had to learn how to change their game a little bit for, you know, and work on different things. And, you know, like Eddie with Melendez, who's such a gritty guy, was champion of Strikeforce, and then going to Pettis, who was UFC champion, you know. And it was great, too, in the fact that, you know, we had one game plan for Eddie against Pettis, and then Edson Barboza fought him next, and we came with a different game plan. So, you know, there's, you know, you take what these guys do really well, and, you know, you try to go with it. I think, you know, this fight, you know, is a fight with Rafael. He's so well-rounded, man, and I think you need to pull out everything. And I think, you know, we've been working on it. He's striking a lot, and just everything with him, man. He's progressing really well, man, and staying a lot cleaner, and you know, doing some great things. His footwork is so amazing. So, you know, this should be a great match, man. It's going to be, you know, who doesn't make the first mistake, you know, because they're both amazing and that they will capitalize on if you make a mistake.
Again, we talk about, you know, Eddie's a little bit of momentum behind him, Gilbert Melendez and obviously Anthony Pettis, two really, really big names and two really, really big wins for Eddie. You mentioned the hunger as well in Eddie. He's that Philadelphia spirit. Is there anything that can actually stop Eddie at the moment, in your opinion, from getting his hands on this title?
Yeah, no, Rafael's amazing, man. You know, he's good in everything. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. His kicks are world class.
Awesome, yeah.
His great camp that he comes from. Every punch that he throws, he tries to throw to really hurt you. So, you know, we have to be sharp, man. You know, you can't. You know, you have to be totally on your toes for this one. Rafael, I think, is one of the best 55ers that the UFC's had. You know, I'm definitely going to be, you know, saying my man Frankie was the best, but you know, I think Rafael, you know, is definitely one of the best that I've ever seen.
100% agree.
So,
yeah.
You know, we have a big task ahead of us, and you win this title, and I think, man, you really, really earned it. You've earned something big.
So, at the end of the week, are we going to be seeing Eddie Alvarez winning that lightweight title and Frankie Edgar winning the featherweight interim title, in your opinion?
Yeah, I believe so, man. I believe that you know, these two guys, man, they just have the heart of warriors, each one of them, and they've pushed each other so well in both these camps. And man, I truly believe it. I believe you know, that you're going to see two different world champions come home. Well, Eddie, the world champion, and Frankie, you know, what I think will be the champion after Conor figures out what he's figuring out, and probably can't make anyway. I think maybe a month later, Frankie will be champion, and, you know, Conor will steal him of, you know, celebration, but still, who cares? Frankie will be the second, you know, only the third person to win 2 world titles.
I'm very much looking forward to it on Saturday and the whole week. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm just going to touch on one more fight before I let you go. Just Edson Barboza, Gil Melendez coming up at the end of the month. A really, really exciting fight on paper. Just your thoughts on that fight, and what have you done with Edson to finally chin him? Because if we look at Edson under you, since he's been working with you, there's just been constant improvements. You know, we look at that last fight, the leg kicks, as you mentioned there. He's just getting better and better, on his footwork is awesome as well.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the bun. You know, his I think, you know, for the first time, Edson really too is getting very comfortable with boxing and learning how to blend both, and always just counting on like Muay Thai. We talked about Paul before. You know, like when Edson fought Paul, all he did was, you know, stand up right in front of him, and you know, it was more of a Muay Thai game. And now he's really learning how to blend his game better. And man, his defense has gotten so much better. And he moved to New Jersey, you know, along with Mo Moraes. So, you know, his camps have been way longer, and he's been working on his game, you know, when he doesn't have a fight. So, man, he vastly improved from, you know, the fight that you saw at Pettis, I think, is the Edson that we've always seen.
The best Edson we've seen, I think.
Sparring. Yeah, that we've talked about. Like, Brian Stan always talks to me, you know, and I'm like, bro, you've never seen the real Edson, you know, that I've seen in sparring. And I believe, you know, since last fight, with Edson's way better improved defense and confidence in his boxing, I think, man, he's just on a whole nother level. And, you know, it's great because in America, it's going to be on Fox, which is Channel 5.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, free national television. So it's
I can't wait.
You know, and he's bumped up to the co-main event, so it's going to be a great stage for him to show the world how improved he is, and that he's ready for he's ready for one of these next guys for that title defense.
Yeah.
And fight for the title. Whether it be him, maybe him and Eddie.
Is that something you'd harbor and you'd let happen?
No, right now, we're just concentrating on Eddie, man.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
I'm just saying these two, I think, are the best 255ers going, and but that is definitely for another day.
Yeah.
Right now, we're concentrating on both of them. They're really helping each other, push each other to be the best in their game.
Just want to mention one more thing to you before I let you go. I know you're busy. I know you're off to a barbecue and to celebrate the 4th of July, which goes down tomorrow, obviously. A lot of people talk about movement now, and the best fighters in the world are the guys who move better, and obviously footwork is a very important part of movement. A lot of your guys, and I've noticed that obviously with Edson, you've mentioned as well, he's not standing and banging in the pocket anymore. He's getting out of there. We saw him sharpen up. We seen with Frankie. Obviously, Frankie's movement is insane. Is this the further evolution of the sport that movement is so important? And do you see the guys who are moving better going to be the world champions? Because we've guys like Steve Miocic at the moment. Connor, who's good, decent with his movement as well. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's getting a title shot. Dillashaw Cruz. Is this the new generation and the way forward in mixed martial arts? Do you feel?
Well, first, surprisingly, amazingly, we don't bring in a movement coach. We kind of do this on our own. It's it's a shocker, but we don't do that. But we've been moving man for.
Was that aimed at Mr. Ido Portal?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, because if we do that, then we're going to need a chewing coach, and then we're going to need, we're going to need someone, a microwave coach. We're going to need a whole, how many coaches can we have? But anyway, we're going to need, a massage coach. But amazingly, we've been doing this on our own since the Sean Shirk fight, and we came up with it a long time ago when Frankie was, just too small kind of for 55. So he couldn't stand and bang with guys like Sean Shirk and Maynard, that we needed movement back then. Also, too, when you don't move as much, you're a stationary target to get taken down, and also using small gloves. So, for me, I've always been really big on movement and feints and, changing rhythms. And so movement in our camp has always been big,
Yeah.
How we do it on our own, I just don't know, man. But I guess it's a miracle.
Mark, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I really do appreciate the time. Always good fun and enjoy the conversations we have. Listen, have a great weekend. Enjoy your barbecue. Happy 4th of July, and I hope everything works out well for you guys next week at International Fight Week and UFC 200. I do appreciate the time, my friend.
Thanks so much, man. I just want to say, man, you're always awesome, man. It's always great to hear from you. And, man, I love, doing your show streaming. You're a funny dude, and love you guys, man.
Thanks so much, Mark. Appreciate the time. Talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, be good, bro. God bless.